Hello and welcome everyone to Cracking the Code, Navigating Health Canada's XML PM Submission Requirements presentation. Today we'll discuss the Health Canada's XML PM initiative and how I4I can assist. There's a lot of information to cover and we're going to have a Q&A session to follow. This presentation is being recorded and a link to the recording will be made available to all registered attendees. Before we get started, I just need to go over some regular housekeeping. Be sure to have your microphone on mute, and if you use a phone to listen to the presentation, make sure your computer audio volume is off. After the presentation, we will welcome questions. You can type them into the chat panel, and just be sure to send them to everyone. If you don't see the chat button, click the View menu and select the Show Meeting Controls option. We'll do our best to get to all of your questions. The agenda for today's presentation includes a welcome and introductions, an overview of XML PM, and then we're going to talk about the seamless migration from PM to XML PM. And we're going to follow that with a live demo of our application and show you what an XML PM consists of and how the A4L validation works. And finally, we're going to move to the Q&A portion and answer any questions that you have. So let's get started. First of all, welcome, and let's tell you who we are. So for our introductions, I'm Jacqueline Bruner, and I'm here today with my colleague, Amanpreet Kath. As a senior regulatory lead, Aman oversees the conversion services team, works closely with clients, coordinates global labeling projects, and stays up to date on emerging regulatory guidelines, keeping herself and the team up to speed on developments in the regulatory world.
Thank you, Jacqueline. And as Director of Encoding Technology, Jacqueline participates in working groups and oversees the development and implementation of evolving and new regulatory standards for health authority submissions. Now that we have introduced ourselves, let me also introduce you to our company, I4I. I4I is a Canadian company. We made our mark in the pharmaceutical structured labeling, working closely with the US FDA on the implementation of the industry's first e-labeling initiative based on the Health Level 7 Structured Product Labeling Standard in 2004. To support SPL, we adapted our patented XML encoding technology and brought A4L Professional to market, offering industry an in-house authoring tool that plugs into Microsoft Word to create, edit, validate, and publish compliant product labels in XML format quickly and easily. We then added an enterprise version that brings 21 CFR compliant document management as well as management services for complex labeling processes such as variants and translation for over 100 jurisdictions globally. In 2017, we began working with Health Canada on the initiative for structured product monographs, which is now known as XML PM and follows the Health Level 7 SPL e-labeling standard. Most recently, we've been working closely with the Vulcan Fire Accelerator Group as an active member of the EPI subgroup. In parallel, we are engaged with a broad range of other initiatives and standards around the world, which includes the development of IDMP, Fire EPI, and CMC-PQ, to name a few. Along the way, we've built an incredible regulatory team that not only supports customers using our software, but also offer their services to industry on an outsourced basis. iFry has been developing structured content solutions for over 25 years. And for over 20 years, our focus has been on the life sciences industry, providing solutions to create and manage compliant regulatory labeling submissions based on the electronic standards adopted by various health authorities around the world. Today, we provide services to over 90 pharmaceutical companies. Here are our products and services suite. Regulatory Assist is our e-labeling services division, supporting clients globally to comply with health authority regulatory submission formats. April Professional is our desktop structured authoring application. And April Enterprise is a full workflow and process management platform. Both are available for the future ongoing management of XML PM updates and submissions to Health Canada. Let's take a look at a brief overview on XML PM. Over the years, the product monograph has evolved significantly. The 2004 and 2014 product monographs had up to 5 templates. In 2016, a new template, Schedule D, Biosimilar Biologic Drug, was released for biosimilar product monographs, bringing the total number of templates up to 6. Now, with the 2020 and 2024 product monographs, all templates, or all 6 of them, are merged into one master template, and administrative changes have been made to accommodate XML product monographs. Starting July 18, 2025, XML PM will be mandatory for certain submission types, which we'll cover today. And the good news is that we are currently in a voluntary transition period. This allows you to begin using XML PM for any submission type at your convenience. We actually recommend taking advantage of this period as huge support from Health Canada is available, and getting started now provides more time to address any potential issues before the mandatory deadline. So XML PM will become mandatory filing requirement for the following new drug submission types: new drug submissions, NDS, extraordinary use new drug submissions, or EU NDS. However, the mandatory filing requirement will not apply to the following submission types: administrative new drug submissions for priority review, new drug submissions related to COVID, submissions where an advanced consideration notice of compliance with conditions has been granted, abbreviated new drug submissions. While the submission types I mentioned here are the ones that are directly impacted by the mandatory XML PM filing requirements starting July 18, 2025, we have observed a recent trend where Health Canada has been requesting other submission types to include XML PMs as well. For example, we've seen that even the supplemental new drug submissions, or SNDSs, are now being requested to include an XML PM in the latest submission template. So for some companies, if their product monograph is still in the legacy format, transitioning to the latest format followed by conversion to XML PM can take additional time. So this is an important consideration, as it means you may be asked to move to XML PM even if your submission type isn't officially listed as part of the mandatory requirement. Again, given this, I strongly recommend that you begin updating your product monographs to the latest format as soon as possible if you haven't already. And doing so now will give you ample time to address any potential issues and avoid delays in the future. Now that we've discussed the submission types, let's take a look at the product lines impacted. The following product lines will be impacted by the mandatory filing requirement. Pharmaceutical drugs that include prescription drugs and those administered by a healthcare provider, non-prescription drugs regulated under Division 8 of the Food and Drug Regulations, biologic drugs or Schedule D, radiopharmaceutical drugs or Schedule C. The XML PM is a structured format submission which holds more information than the current product monograph. The XML file can be viewed in the Health Canada style sheet, which also provides benefits of searchability and accessibility. Along with the native text from your current product monograph, the XML PM also includes metadata and controlled vocabularies, which we'll go over in section 3 of the presentation. Health Canada regularly works with industry to improve and adapt the control vocabularies to meet your drug product information needs. Now, let's look at the many benefits of using a structured XML document as opposed to a PDF document. With structured XML content, we can use established data standards such as controlled vocabularies and standardized terminology lists. These data standards promote consistency across data collection projects. Adding structure allows for searchability, which is not available in PDF documents. The metadata can be indexed, allowing users to search by values such as ingredient name or section heading. Data in a structured format provides openness, transparency, and easy access to drug product and prescribing information for healthcare providers and other downstream users. With structured data, there's also downstream potential as the machine processable encoding allows publishing in various different formats. Other benefits include the ease of the submission process. Electronic labels are facilitated by automated validation. Automated validation can provide results within minutes, leading to faster communication with Health Canada in terms of your submissions. This means issues can be resolved in a timely manner. Finally, structured data promotes consistency for searching and analytics. Moving to a structured format ultimately helps expedite data retrieval for end users such as patients and healthcare providers. So Health Canada does not offer tools for migrating or creating XML PM documents. However, it does have guidance documents, sample files, and an official list of controlled vocabularies. The actual creation and submission are up to the sponsors to deal with. We'll show you your options for migrating or creating an XML PM so you can decide on the approach that best suits your organization. Also of note is that the most recent update to the guidance document and sample files was received last Friday, though it is not yet publicly available. So if you require a copy, please feel free to contact us, or you can also reach out to Health Canada directly via email. So you need to consider a few things when you're ready to transition from product monograph to XML product monograph. Right up front, you'll need to choose how you'll create the XML PM, whether using a vendor's XML PM tool, outsourcing, or an XML code editor. If you prefer outsourcing, our team of regulatory professionals uses the AFRL application to convert your legacy product monographs and to update your XML PMs. Then there's vendor tools. XML editors can be very difficult, especially if you don't have knowledge about coding in XML or the XML PM format. So let's talk about vendor tools or outsourcing. One approach you will hopefully consider is i4i's AFRL software and or our outsourcing services. Using our software or services means you have access to our regulatory experts who can answer any of your questions and help with any validation issues when you submit. Our AFRL Pro application is a plugin for Microsoft Word that allows you to maintain one master document and generate multiple document formats from it, such as Word, PDF, and XML. Additionally, since it's a plugin for Microsoft Word, you're working in a very familiar interface. You author your XML PMs the same way you author your Word product monographs right now, and AFRL takes care of the XML aspect behind the scenes. Then there's metadata, arguably the biggest new feature requirement of XML PM. Much of the power of metadata in XML PM is due to Health Canada's ability to standardize terms in controlled vocabulary lists. It may seem daunting at first, as you'll have to collate information that's not necessarily sitting within the label. However, our XML PM templates are structured to align with Health Canada's requirements, including the controlled vocabulary headings and lists. We have all the required controlled vocabulary terms embedded in AFRL along with their associated codes, making them very straightforward to deal with. So you just pick a controlled vocabulary term and the associated code is set for you automatically. A further consideration is that you will need to convert not just one version of your product monograph, but two, one for each language. Here too, AFRL has you covered as you can author in both French and English. AFRL aids the translation from one language to the other because all Health Canada section headings and much of the metadata are stored in controlled vocabulary lists. So automatic language conversion of the CV terminologies is done at a push of a button. This saves you money because headings and terms are already translated. It also saves you time, as you know that you always conform with the official Health Canada terms. I'm going to now discuss the migration process from PM to XML PM using both outsourcing as well as an in-house tool. So our regulatory team follows a comprehensive process when converting your non-structured PMs into XML PMs, including an iterative process in which we work with you to make any updates. I'm now going to review each of these steps one by one. To initiate a conversion request, clients can upload the conversion package to our secure portal, providing details such as brand name, type of label, description, and content of labeling. Depending on the type of label, the package contents may vary, and we can work with your team to set this up for the initial request. Once your request is received, it will generate an automated response and a ticket number. Your conversion will be assigned immediately to an available regulatory specialist on our team. You will provide us the existing product monograph in a clean or redacted Word document or even a text-enabled PDF format, along with the product and business information required for the data element section of the label. This can be done by simply updating the data collection spreadsheet that we provide you with. Once all required source materials and instructions are gathered, our first step is to thoroughly analyze the source files. The assigned team member will carefully review each document and all provided information to confirm that everything necessary is present and the instructions are clear. If we identify any missing items, such as any missing metadata values that are mandatory, or if we need additional details to create a compliant XML PM, we will promptly reach out for clarification to ensure a smooth process. So we require the content of labeling in a Word document and the metadata entered in a data collection file that we provide in advance. The data collection template is pre-populated with Health Canada's CV drop-downs and has other instructions to help you collect the metadata. We then do the migration using our A4L Professional authoring tool, a Word-based plugin that we use to create, edit, validate, and publish product labels in the XML format, ensuring compliance and efficiency. As part of our services at i4i, we handle the section mapping between your PM and the XML PM. This is done via the process of migrating from unstructured to structured content for your labeling. So our software has a feature that automatically applies the necessary structure to your content when you bring it from a regular Word document to a structured template. During this process, A4L does all of the heavy lifting in the background. In this process, the software automatically recognizes the section heading styles as well as the heading text, which is essential for structuring the document. As it processes each section, the software not only applies the appropriate XML encoding around the section content, but also automatically inserts the corresponding heading codes. This ensures that both the heading content and the section content are properly tagged in the XML structure. At the end of the process, the Manage Sections dialog is displayed, allowing us to review how the sections and subsections have been formed, as well as the structure, and ensure that the heading hierarchy is accurately represented. So with A4L, we saw that validation is integrated. This means that you can test that your document is compliant with the health authorities' formatting and validation rules at any time during the authoring process. This validation capability alerts you to any potential problems before you submit, reducing delays caused by multiple submissions. A4L's validation produces two reports, the readiness report and the validation report. Here, the readiness report lists all the formatting tests that it has performed, and it indicates if the test has passed or not. If a test has not passed, warning or error messages provide the user with details about the issue. When the validation report is run, your document is checked against the rules and requirements that are listed in the health authorities' guidance. If any violation of the rules is caught, the report indicates both where and what needs to be fixed before you can publish your product label for submission. Once the internal review and validation are completed, we publish the XML PM file and provide you with the final XML PM package via the same method as the initial request. During your review, you can request any minor changes or updates to the label. This cycle can repeat until the file is ready for submission to Health Canada. Once you review and approve the file, you can submit it to Health Canada. We will assist in fixing errors to ensure Health Canada acceptance. So our team will support you through the submission process and provide updates or recommendations to navigate any questions that come up. For instance, there may be adjustments to the controlled vocabulary terminology between finalizing the XML PM and submitting it to Health Canada. Should any modifications be necessary, we will promptly update the XML PM and ensures its compliance with the latest requirements. The conversion request will be marked as closed when the submission is successfully received by Health Canada in your ECTD submission, confirming it is error-free and accepted. Let's now take a closer look at some of the key features in the AFRL application. So this document here has already been structured as we saw earlier, and this is indicated by the gray boxes or words content control tags. These elements help us clearly identify where the structure has been applied. Then, in addition to the standard word ribbons, you'll notice that there is also an AFRL ribbon available. This ribbon is the primary tool we use for authoring purposes. And since you're working within Word, you still have access to all other standard Word functions, such as editing, formatting, inserting tables and images, and working in track changes mode, among others. Now, once the content is updated, the next significant addition to your product monographs is the metadata, which can be entered through the AFRL Ribbons XML PM dropdown. So in this dialog, you will find both free text fields as well as drop-down menus where applicable. And these drop-downs are populated with terms from Health Canada's control vocabulary lists. Each item in the list corresponds to a specific code which AFRL handles automatically. It's also important to note that Health Canada does not currently offer a publicly available validation tool for this process. This is where our validation feature becomes essential. It ensures that the metadata is applied correctly during the authoring phase, which is crucial for the migration process. By confirming that your file is both valid and compliant, the validation helps prevent issues down the line. So once all the metadata is added and validated, we can then publish the document in the XML PM format. So this generates an XML file. So if I open this folder, you'll see the XML file with the associated images. And this folder can then be used for submission purposes. When the primary language is complete, the document's control vocabularies, including section headings as well as metadata, can be easily translated into a secondary language by using the Select Language button on the AFRL ribbon. This simplifies the translation process and ensures consistency across both language versions. So this completes the presentation portion of our webinar. I hope this demonstration of our tool and explanation of how our conversion services works is helpful in guiding you in your XML PM journey.
Thank you, Alman. That was great. And we are now ready to move on to the Q&A portion of our session. If you haven't already sent in your questions, please feel free to do so now using the WebEx Q&A panel. And also, if you're watching the recording of this presentation and you want to send us a question, please contact our i4i support team at support@i4i.com. Well, thank you for all the great questions. It's great to have an interactive session, and thank you for attending our webinar. We hope you found this session informative. And if you have other questions for us, or if you'd like to know more about how we can help you comply with Health Canada's XML PM requirement, please send us an email at contact@i4i.com. Thank you again, everybody.